Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Kingdom Hearts 2 playthrough! So, we've been to every single world for a second time. Obviously Atlantica's still waiting there for us, and we've still got to go to the 100 Acre Wood. But those trips are waiting until later. Now something that is quite cool is that you can come up to the world that never was here, and if you attempt to land, you won't be allowed to, because it says for something or another. But either way, our only option now is to return to Hollow Bastion. And we've got to finish off our job in the Space Paranoids, because things are not going good here right now.
Wait a sec. I thought everything was supposed to be under control here. Must be Organization 13 again. We better go see Leon.
And we basically just have to, well, run all the way over to see Leon, but we get to have a little quick chat with Cloud first, but he didn't really do a whole lot. Also, something that I never noticed in this game is that Huey, Dewey and Louie have shops in Hollow Bastion. Like, I don't know how I never knew that. I mean, I know why. It's because I never went to any of these shops, because I generally saw the shops as being pretty useless. Because I hardly ever used items. Obviously, now I'm a changed person and realise my mistakes, but still, it's like, Huey, Dewey and Louie are here. I was wondering where those little tykes had gotten to. Also, Scrooge McDuck has finally recreated sea salt ice cream, which is, as I think most people know at this point, Tetsuya Nomura's favourite ice cream flavour. And I believe they sell it at Disneyland in Tokyo, which I'm really envious of because I want to taste sea salt ice cream. I tried making some, and it went reasonably well up until the point of trying to put the salt in, because I don't think I put nearly enough salt in, so what I ended up with was an incredibly vanilla blue ice cream, and it didn't freeze particularly well either. So my attempt at making sea salt ice cream ended in failure. However, at some point in the future I am most definitely going to attempt to make sea salt ice cream again, because I'm desperate to taste it, because apparently it's really nice. Despite the fact that it sounds absolutely disgusting, because, you know, salt and sweet just don't go together, but apparently they do. Which is just awesome, really. Also, Space Paranoid Heartless are now appearing in Hollow Bastion. This ain't good. And also, if you haven't quite noticed, the thing that was once helping us take down Heartless is now actively trying to harm us. So do be very, very careful and watch out, because that's not gonna hurt. So, since having a little scramble on the keyboard, it's something that I do love seeing in games and films and stuff, is that generally, like, well, particularly in games, whenever anybody uses a keyboard, it's not how anybody in reality uses a keyboard. Because, you know, you're generally quite precise and stuff. But it's just the manic random tapping, it's hilarious.
Turns out the MCP is using the data in that computer to crank out Heartless. The MCP's been messing around with the town's control system, too.
That MCP sure doesn't know when to quit, does it?
So, as I was saying, either in the last part or a couple of parts ago, it's time for us to finish our job. Because the last time we were in the Space Paranoids, we didn't kill the MCP. So he's trying to take over the world. And we need to go and defeat him. Which will be an absolute godsend, I have to say. And while I think in most circumstances, well, actually, no, I say in most circumstances I'd cut straight to the computer room where we get access to the Space Paranoids. I'm not going to do that here because, you know, there is actually a cutscene that we get when we're on our way there, and also I have to suffer through this fighting, so why shouldn't you? I mean, it's not like the fights are exactly boring to watch, so that's a good. It's not like if I ever get around to doing Eternal Sonata, that's one where I will cut out fights because it's random encounters, sort of random encounters. You run into enemies, but still. But the way I do things, I always end up following exactly the same pattern because it's a sort of pseudo-turn-based system. And yeah, you don't want to watch the same fight a gazillion times, whereas this at least changes up a little bit as you move along. And nothing's ever quite the same. Which, whenever you do infighting, is just great. I mean, it's one of the reasons that I love things like Bayonetta so much. It's basically because you have so many different options available to you in how you defeat your enemies, that each fight is going to end up being slightly different. Because you aren't forced to use a single weapon. I mean, generally I end up finding the weapons that I like using and use them constantly. As you probably saw when I played the original Bayonetta and basically used Scarborough Fair for pretty much the entirety of the game up until the point that I got, oh gosh, Lieutenant or Lieutenant Colonel Kilgore, and then used that as my main thing. It's just, I think, in certain games you find something that you enjoy using and, or at least are very proficient at using, and then you struggle to use anything else. It's the same thing with like Super Smash Brothers. Like, I'm incredibly proficient, or at least in my head, incredibly proficient at using Princess Peach. But with certain other characters, I'm just rubbish. Like, I mean, in Smash Brothers for Wii U, I can't play Luigi to save my life. Which is rather depressing, because Luigi's awesome. And I probably shouldn't be talking about other games while playing Kingdom Hearts. But at present, there's nothing particularly exciting going on, so little sidetrack's not going to do us any harm. But we are going to get a rather awesome cutscene once we're done with all this fighting. Rather funny one too, so that's always good. Also, I would most definitely recommend leveling up as much as you can. Just fight every single enemy as you go along here, because when we eventually get to Space Paranoids, while the boss fight that we're going to have at the end isn't hard, there is a particularly challenging moment that happens partway through. And obviously the higher level you are, the more damage you do to Heartless, and the easier it is, because it can be a pain. And I don't think I've ever been able to do it without dying at least once. Because, yeah, it's difficult. And also, I believe pretty much when I first played the game, and I believe the same time when I died in this run on it, it was for exactly the same reason, because I'm an idiot. Also, I believe at this point I'm just going to be constantly going into forms, because you kind of pick up drive gauge stuff so quickly that it's just a bit of a waste just letting it sit there and not use it. I mean, I know it makes the game overly easy, but adds a bit more visual flair, don't you think? Anyway, it's time to head to the postern, and we've got a little something waiting for us. If we talk to the gullwings who are just flying around here.
Liars!
What?
Leon doesn't have any treasure!
And we fought for you guys.
Donald!
Well, I had to tell him something.
I don't see how we're gonna work this out.
So what should we do?
I didn't think they would trick us like that. We worked so hard to help them out.
Okay, you don't.
It's not fair.
They'll just take responsibility for what they did. I know.
Okay,
Yeah,
this'll be great.
good call.
Okay, it's go time.
We're just going to take your treasure.
But we don't have anything.
You sure?
Let's take a look. Ooh. Hey, Uni, I took a look, and sure enough...
Okay, we've decided. The Gullwings are taking all your items.
You gotta be kidding me.
Oh, foofy.
This stinks.
So not cool.
Look, sorry we tricked you, but
Forget about it. Leon told us the whole story. He said your journey's been pretty rough.
So it wouldn't really be right if we took your things.
We'll root for you. Here, this is from us.
Bye. Good luck on your journey.
And that's the last we're ever going to see of the Gullwings.
there.
And what's quite cool is that for doing that, we get the Gullwing. Which, as a Keyblade, is very, very, very helpful if you want to level up. Because it increases the amount of experience you get, which is absolutely glorious. I don't think I'm ever going to use it because as a Keyblade it's rather weak. But still. Also, I don't know why I haven't shifted over to using Decisive Pumpkin yet. But don't worry, I will realise my mistake soon enough. Because Decisive Pumpkin, which is the Keyblade that we got from Halloween Town, is by far the best Keyblade to have at this point in the game. And trust me, you want to be using it. And there is only going to be one point after I've equipped it where I will unequip it, and that is only because I think it looks absolutely ridiculous in a particular cutscene. And I don't want it there. I want something a lot cooler. Although I think I did make a mistake in the Keyblade I chose. But oh well. Anyway, we're nearly there. And we can get back to the Space Paranoids and get on with things. That's it. Just going back to the Gullwings for a little bit. I do like that they included them because Final Fantasy X is arguably one of, if not the most popular of the Final Fantasy games outside of 7, which is probably the reason why it got the HD remastering, which looks absolutely stunning, I have to say. And I'll say it really does make me want to finish Final Fantasy X, because I still haven't done it yet. I've had the game for years, and I've just never finished it. It's basically because I got stuck on a boss when I was younger, and then I was just like, well, I'll try and get a particular move so that I can beat the next boss easier, and that just got tedious, and then I just got fed up and bored and gave up. But I'm determined that one day, reasonably soon I hope, either the next couple of years, I'll go back to Final Fantasy X, finish that, and finish Final Fantasy X-2 as well, because they are, well, 10's well loved, 10-2 isn't, but still. I have to say, with Final Fantasy, I haven't played that many entries in the series, because played 10, played a bit of 10-2, I played the entirety of the 13 series, which is depressing, and theatre of them, and that's it. It's really odd. I mean, I think it's because Final Fantasy really does aim itself towards a slightly older audience, so, well, 12 plus, really. And I think I just never was really that interested in it. And it's only been recently that I've gotten into kind of RPGs and all that jazz. And also developed the patience to deal with them. Because, trust me, it's very, very, very easy to get fed up of things where you have to grind. Here we go, finally I think, realising Decisive Pumpkin is the way to go. Also just generally upgrading things, because that's always helpful. Now, even though Wishing Lamp is weaker than Guardian Soul, I mean it's got more magic, but because it increases the amount of item orbs you get, it is much more useful for unlocking, well, levelling up Master Form, because that requires the drive gauge orbs, I think, or something along those lines. So Wishing Lamp is a much better Keyblade to use on it. But anyway, we've made it back to the computer, and it's time to head into the Space Paranoids to save Tron, because we really do need to save him, and also we need to fix everything that's going wrong in Hollow Bastion at the minute, because the MCP is an absolute dick. But anyway, let's head into the pit cell. Let's go.